Welcome live on Checkered Flag Interactive. We are here at Thompson Speedway for the Maritime iRacing League. Live race number 9 out of 16. The season has been rolling on pretty quickly here, and it's been an exciting season so far. Last week we had an incredible race, guys, and if you missed that, definitely head over to our YouTube channel and check that out because the finish was absolutely incredible. You could not have expected what happened there at the end. But looking onwards here tonight, these guys ready to take on this speedway for the second time this season. These super late models getting down and onto the track here and getting things ready to get kicked off very quickly for, again, race number 9 out of 16, live on Checkered Flag Interactive. Lucas Huffman and Brandon Hoff up in the booth when we come back from the break. Do not go away.
Welcome to the Thompson International Speedway for round 9 of the MiRL, presented live here on Checkered Flag Interactive. Last week we saw a great finish at Irwindale. We hope to see the same this week. Brandon, just give me a quick recap of what you thought about last week's race.
Honestly, in my opinion, that was the craziest finish I've ever seen. I mean, we saw, what, 3 out of the top 4 have problems in the last 6 laps of that race. Whether it was computers freezing or wrecking each other or what, but it was crazy. But in the end, Keith Mack was the winner. Well, he had a fast car all day, but kind of looked into that one for sure.
Definitely a right place, right time situation. Just one thing I want to make note of, we have a development here. Ricky Arbo was the fastest car in practice. Having issues during qualifying, not able to lay down a lap, so your fastest car in practice all day here at Thompson is going to be starting from the back of the field. You saw him last week run very well at Irwindale and lead a big part of it, and probably had it locked up had there not been a computer issue. So once again, just like Keith Mack a couple weeks ago at Oxford, we're going to be able to watch a car come through the field. And definitely a development. The other thing is Sean Pierce is right now sitting on your provisional pole with Jake Goodwin to his outside. I want to make a quick note about Jake Goodwin, always qualifying well, always running up front, and he just can't seem to close the deal.
Yeah, we've seen him dominate these races a lot this season. And yeah, he just really can't close out the deal, whether something happens to him or he gets wrecked, involved in other people's junk. Mechanical or equipment failures, like I guess we saw he had last week. Still not sure what happened right now, but yeah, he did have a equipment failure last week on his part.
Just want to let everyone know that this race is brought to you by Tim's Corner Motorsports. If you could jump on their website, you'll be able to see they have a iRacing preseason Thunder event that will have a fan vote that will be able to qualify a driver for the preseason race to run along with all of the pros, with the likes of Michael Conti and Adam Gilliland and Patrick Crabtree, Chris Overland, Matt Busa, all those guys. So go ahead and jump over there. It's timscorner.ca, and then you will see the TCM Preseason Thunder link. So qualifying winding down here. It looks like Sean Pierce is actually going to be sitting on that top position. There's a few minutes left, a few cars still taking laps, but the cars that are still have yet to take a lap, doesn't look like any of them are going to have the speed to knock him off that perch.
Yeah, it wasn't a wide margin that Sean Pierce won this pole. He only won the pole by 6 1/1000ths over Jake Goodwin, 199. So close times here.
Definitely going to be competitive. Your whole your top 10 separated by less than 2/10, so it's or a little over 2/10. It's definitely going to be a well-contested fight here today. Just want to make a quick note. Last week's winner, Keith Mack, sitting in that number 7 position, and 2 weeks ago, your Oxford winner, your Triple Crown winner, Mike Rhino, will be starting in the 8th position. So they're going to be starting side by side. That's definitely going to be a row to watch. You look at starting in the 9th position. Mackenzie Brewer had a good run last week, ended up falling into 2nd with all the problems last week, so that was a good run for them.
Yeah, some guys that are starting mid-pack. Mid-pack you would say. 2 guys I think we should watch. The 38 of Travis Roman, the 02 of Christopher Garnett. Those are 2 guys that don't always have stellar qualifying runs, but it seems like as they work their way through the race, they get their cars working very well. And most of the time they're in the top 10, maybe even the top 5, like we saw last week. We saw both of them actually run in the top 5 last week, but they both did have problems.
Yeah, Christopher Garnett was battling alongside, I can't recall, I think it was Mike Rhino, and they both had issues on the exit of turn 2, and that's how Keith Mack was able to jump in there. But you could argue that that was going to be Christopher Garnett's win had issues not come up. So he's definitely someone to watch here. Looking at his times through practice, I don't think he made any mock qualifying runs. I think he simply ran let's see here. It looks like he ran just a race setup for qualifying. So you can tell he's definitely putting an emphasis on that today, trying to get that race run locked in and see if he can progress his way through the field. He's going to be rolling off in the 16th position, the outside of the 8th row.
There is time to make your way through the field. This isn't a 125-lap race.
Yeah, definitely a lot of time. If we can get some green flag runs in there, I would anticipate, probably 20 to 30 lap runs hopefully we can get to round that every time, and then have our caution stack everybody up and let strategy become a part of this. These guys should not have to pit in this short of a distance race. Super late model is holding I believe over 18 gallons of fuel, so will not be an issue. The guys can go all the way. It's just, do you want those fresh Goodyears? Looks like we're gonna Steve Bonesteel's down on the pit road with your pole sitter. He's gonna catch up with Sean Pierce. Over to you, Steve.
Thanks, Lucas. I'm down here with Sean Pierce on pit road. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
What are your thoughts going into this race? Now, we're over halfway through the season. This thing's really starting to wind down. You've been pretty consistent so far. However, that car has been pretty beaten and banged every single race. What are your thoughts going into the race here?
This place is get out front. That's my thing, and stay there, hopefully. Back in the back, it could be messy, but this could be a good racetrack, too. Being a part-time driver, it's good to be up here.
As the season has progressed and you've watched some of these races, you've been in some of these races, what are your thoughts on how the season has been as a whole? And what can you compare it to, I mean, even in real life? Because this is really some incredible driving we've seen this season by some of these drivers out here, and it's just been a privilege to be able to watch it.
Like Tim and them guys, they got a good league here. Some really good drivers, some really close racing. I guess it's kind of comparable to the Maritime Pro Stock Tour that I run in, because a lot of the guys are close together. I mean, you look at the times, the top 12 or top 15 is within half a second, so it's close. It's a tight racetrack. A lot of the races have been that way throughout the season.
All right, well, getting down into this race, just a few moments away here. Do you have anybody you need to thank going into this?
Oh, of course. You like our sponsors, South Shore Speed and Sound and Microcomputer Atlantic, Center for Speed, and DE Light Metals, and Racing for Autism that's on the hood.
All right, 10-4. Good luck, Sean.
Thanks, guys.
Back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, thank you, Steve. Looks like we're getting ready to put the cars on the grid here at Thompson International Speedway. Looks like we're going to run through your starting order here really quick. Sean Pierce is going to be sitting on the pole for this one. Jake Goodwin qualifying second. Another good effort for him. Let's see if he can get that finish he deserves this week. Third place, Chris Roma. Good effort for him. Fourth is going to be Stephen Matthews. Rolling off fifth will be Craig McDonald. One quick note about Craig McDonald. Always qualifying up front. Seems like he kind of is the pinball in the pinball machine these races. Will he be able to keep defenders on it and get a top three? Because I feel like he's going to have that speed every week. Chris Stewart rolling off sixth. Last week's winner in the number 22 machine, Keith Mack, is going to roll off seventh. Eighth place, Mike Rhino. Ninth place, last week's second place finisher, Mackenzie Brewer. 10th place is going to be Matthew Barkhouse in the 45.
Row 6. 05, Todd Cousins. 13th position, we have 13 of David Cassidy. 2 is outside. And 14th, the 11 of Vic Greenwood. And the next row, like we talked about at the top of the show, we have Travis Roma in the 38, and then 2 of his outside is the 02, Christopher Garnett. Look for those two to make their way through the field early in this race. 17th, we have 09 of Craig Weigel. 2 is outside, the 71 of George White. And running out the top 20 in row 10 is the 37 of Carson Aub and the 75 of Tim Terry.
Doug Hubley going to roll off in the 21st position. Outside of him is there's 01 of Don Steves. Looks like Ricky Arbo is going to be rolling off in the 25th position is what it's showing up here. 26th is going to be Jeff Gilmore. 27th is going to be Luke Kelsey. One thing, like I said, you want to keep an eye on that Ricky Arbo machine. His fastest lap in practice was a 18.695. To put that in perspective, Sean Pierce is sitting on the pole with an 18.812, so he was over a tenth faster than these guys in practice. I actually was watching him during practice. He made a few 10-lap runs, and on his most recent 10-lap run, his fastest lap was on lap 7. in which he ran a 19.1, which would have put him at about 11th to 13th position. So that Ricky Arbo machine is going to have speed. He probably should have won last week at Irwindale. We're going to be able to watch him go through the field, and I know it's going to be a joy just to see that 61 machine picking him off.
Yeah, it seems like every week in this league, and this is a really good thing. We have that one guy that, he's usually up front, but has a bad break in qualifying, and we get to watch him come through the field. And this week's recipient of that, I guess you could say, is Ricky Arbo. So, yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see him come through the field. I think he's going to make quick work of these guys back here. As he gets towards the front, though, it might be a little bit harder.
Yeah, definitely going to be, like you said, it's kind of a curse on one guy every week that seems to be a top 3 car, and we've been able to have the pleasure of watching them run through the field. Definitely going to keep an eye on him today. Keith Mack, Mike Rhino, like I said, they're going to be rolling off in the 4th row. You know that Revolution Motorsports team always has their cars hooked up and ready to go. Christopher Garnett, also part of that team. He's going to be rolling off 16th. They always have speed every week, so we know we're going to be watching those guys. Keep an eye on Sean Pierce. Like he said, he's a part-timer, not necessarily here all the time, but definitely going to be good to see what he has to throw at these guys here.
I don't think we mentioned it either, but the outside of row 2, Stephen Matthews, 98, he was suspended last week for, I believe, too many incident points at Oxford, so he's back this week, and he looks really strong already as he qualified in the 4th spot, so we'll see what he can do tonight coming off suspension.
All right, Ford Mustang pace car in. Sean Pierce, Jake Goodwin on your front row. Green flag in the air. Pierce is off to a good start. He's going to clear Goodwin. Side by side for the 3rd position. Clearing out all the way back to 5th, single file, all the way to that 49 machine of Chris Stewart.
Almost 3 wide there, coming out of 2. Looks like the 9 and 22 side by side. The 22 dives it in. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to clear him. Here comes the 49 to the outside.
Max going to be able to tuck in line there. It looks like he's going to be in the 6th position, 7th place. Oh, contact made 78, 45, making contact. They're keeping it straight, though. Mackenzie Brewer looked like they got a piece of that. 78, John Fitzpatrick, Matthew Barkhouse, side by side for the 10th position.
And we got a car in the wall up here in turn 4. I believe that's Chris Roma, 83. He was up in the marbles there, almost in the wall. He looks like he might get passed by the 9 here. Yes, he will. Craig McDonald will clear Roma, but here comes Roma. A huge run off turn 2.
Yes,
and
got a good
contact. And this is going to create a wreck, and there we go.
Oh, Keith Max
wrecking
at 49,
hard.
Mackenzie Brewer in at 45 and at 05 and a completely blocked racetrack. Multiple cars involved here. Looks like the 49 of Chris Stewart's going to end his race. He had a motor let go. Keith Mack getting up on the radio. Damage on all 4 corners of that machine. 05, Todd Cousins going to have some smoke rolling out of the back of that. Chris Stewart looks like he's going to get the worst of it. I think that's probably going to be the end of his race.
Don't know the official car count of how many were involved, but that was a pretty significant wreck there. It took out a lot of competitive cars there.
Tim Terry, there he is in that 75 machine. He actually went through the grass there. First time Tim's actually missed a wreck all year. He seems to always find his way to get caught up in one. Gonna give a shout out to that 75 machine going through the grass. Good wreck avoidance there.
Yeah, meanwhile, looks like the official guys that look to be done. We got the 49 in the pits, he's done. 05 looks to be done. 78 is pretty significant damage. 45, looks like 83. Can't really tell who else might have gotten a piece of that, but at least 5, 6, 7 cars involved in that one.
Yeah, we were making note about Chris Roma. Had a really good car here today. He was 2nd in practice, qualified 3rd. Rolled off really, rolled off in that 3rd position and looked to be running pretty good. The 9 of Craig McDonald, he actually kind of dove it in on the bottom, made slight contact with that 83 of Chris Roma, and they all piled up from there. You got 20 some odd super lates coming out of a blind corner, and that's one of the fastest parts of the track, aside from straightaways, as they're coming out of that corner, because you really want to diamond that turn 3 off, and everybody was picking up the throttle when they saw that wreck, and there wasn't anywhere to go.
Well, looks like officially there were 7 cars involved in that wreck. Currently we only have 17 on the lead lap out of the 24 that started. So 7 cars is the official count in that wreck. Pretty significant for the field we have. That's about a quarter of the field. So really tough break for these guys early on.
Yeah, just an unfortunate event there. I mean, like I said, the 49 and Chris Stewart seemed to be kind of holding his ground, making progress, and he was caught up in it with some big damage. It's definitely going to change the complexion of this event, as 3 of your top 6 qualifiers are already essentially out of the race.
It looks like the guys are going to be able to continue, though. It looks like the 22, Keith Mack, looks to be the only guy of all those able to stay on the lead lap. His car looks pretty beat up, but obviously is still good enough to continue. Don't know how competitive he'll be for the rest of the race, but he was running up front, so we'll see what he could do back here. Maybe salvage some now. This it's still really early on, so we'll have to see what he could do here.
So the Ford Mustang pace car doubling up the field. One thing we're going to take note of is that 199, Jake Goodwin. He's going to have an opportunity here. Some of the better cars having issues early in this race. Keith Mack kind of stole one from him last week, and then obviously Rhino's still in it. But Ford Mustang pace car in. Sean Pierce waiting for the green flag. Green flag in the air. He gets a good start. He's going to clear it. The 199 of Jake Goodwin.
A really good start there by 21 to clear the 199 there, but Jake Goodwin going to get a good run off turn 2. Can't really close the bumper. Goes on the bumper of the 21. Looks like Sean will maintain the lead, and 98's going to try to look under the 199. Won't get it done. Gets a little bit loose off 4.
One thing we want to make note of is the top looks like 9 positions are single file. Ricky Arbo up to that 9th position. I think maybe not being in the hornet's nest may benefit him. Tim Terry having a good run. He's in the 7th position. They're side by side for that position, right there alongside the 189 of Kevin Savory.
And here comes Ricky Arbo to the outside of the 189. He'll look like he'll get that spot. Now chasing after the 75 of Tim Terry.
Right now it's all Sean Pierce out front. He's pulled out to a quarter-second lead. He's running good laps, starting to separate himself from that field. Jake Goodwin not letting him get too far away, but looks like Pierce pulled him another 10th right there that lap. So maybe we're showing that muscle, that number 21 machine. He might be the class of the field here tonight.
Yeah, looks like early on he's got the car to beat. I know we're only on lap 14 this time, but yeah, showing his muscle early on, like you said, a part-timer in this league. But obviously when he comes down, he's really competitive. As we got a car blown up on the backstretch, I believe that's the 02, Christopher Garnett. That will not create a caution.
Christopher Garnett was one of the picks we had for this race. It looks like he had an issue out of turn number 2, the 45 of Barkhouse and him making contact, very slight contact with that inside wall. And shockingly, that's enough to cause a little smoke out of the front end of that 02 machine. Another one of our picks early in this race, taking a shot.
Yeah, really tough break for him early on, already done. But he was involved in that first wreck, so I believe it might have been some, he might have already had some damage in that engine from that first wreck, so it probably didn't take a lot of contact. But anyway, up front, looks like Sean Pierce has pulled away just a little bit more over Jake Goodwin.
Clicking on another 10th that lap.
About a half a second now, he's got a lead. As they're going to approach lap traffic here soon. Looks like the 78, I believe that is, in front of the leaders. They'll catch him in about a lap or 2 here.
Had a pretty big slip out of Sean Pierce that lap, able to cut that lead nearly in half. As Goodwin ran a 4 and Sean running a 6 that lap. Coming up on lap traffic, the number 78 machine, John Fitzpatrick, holding the bottom, yielding that position to the leaders. You can see you're looking back on the 199 of Jake Goodwin as they're racing around the track for the 19th time, looking to complete that lap. Just over 100 laps to go. Big mistake out of Jake Goodwin. Looking to the bottom, it's going to be the number 98 of Stephen Matthews. Side by side, it's going to be Matthews at the line that time by. Looks like the number 9 of Craig McDonald wanting to follow him through. But Still side by side, the number 9 of McDonald getting loose out of that corner, and that's going to settle him back in single file all the way back to that 5th position. Mike Rhino now looking to the bottom of Craig McDonald. McDonald's going to shut the door, get a little loose out of 4. Rhino's into the outside wall that time by.
Yeah, close race here for second as Sean Pierce continues to check out on these guys.
Yeah, you see the 199 of Goodwin made that mistake, and that was able to give Sean Pierce about another half second, so he's almost to a second cushion. It's just slow, or not slow, but smooth laps right now out of that 21 as he seems to set sail on this field. Caution on the speedway. Looks like the 189 of Kevin Savory having an issue there. Looks like the 38 of Travis Roma and him making contact on corner exit. I think it's more so Kevin Savory getting into the wall and bouncing into that Roma machine.
Yeah, it's just one of those deals 38 really couldn't avoid. But it looks like they're both going again, so really no harm, no foul in either end there.
Doesn't look like any terminal damage on either race car, nothing that's going to affect them terribly. If you're here with us every week, you understand that these super late models can take a beating and maintain pace. Keith Mack is pretty damaged. He's in that 12th position. I don't think he had the speed he did at one point, but I think if he's able to keep that car relatively clean the rest of the way, he might be able to sneak into a top 5 position.
Yeah, I was just going to mention Keith. We saw him start in the 17th spot on the last restart. Now that he's up to 12th, now he's bunched up with the field. We'll see if his car is still capable of running. Yeah, like you said, maybe sneak into a top 5 there. And, I don't know about a win, but I think a top 5 is really realistic if he's got the speed in that car. But that damage does look pretty bad on that car. Not sure if he has any more left on their repairs. Looks like he will stay out this time, but a few cars will take the opportunity.
Yeah, looks like your first taker is going to be Tim Terry in that number 75 machine. While he's out on the pit lane, we just want to remind you to run on over to Tim's Corner Motorsports. Vote on the TCM Preseason Thunder. It's going to be timscorner.ca. And definitely check that out. Tim's Corner Motorsports is one of the best sources for all your Canadian motorsports news. And proud sponsor of this 125 lap event here at the Thompson International Speedway. So it's still going to be Sean Pierce out front. No takers on the pit lane until, like I said, back. It looked like Tim Cherry was your first taker. Maybe Vic Greenwood also, or George White was also coming down that time. They seem to be your only lap, and Vic Greenwood as well. Those are your only 3 lap cars, tires that time by. 189, Kevin Savory actually on the pit lane as well. I don't know if he's going to lose a lap out of this ordeal. Doesn't look like it will. Christopher Garnett also coming in the 02. He had that issue with the engine having a cooling issue earlier. He had to come in and get that fixed. He's multiple laps down. Looks like Kevin Savory is on the lead lap. So one thing to make note of is you said that number 98 is Stephen Matthews, who's serving a suspension last week. I believe there was an issue on the back straightaway at Oxford. I think it was more of an intentional contact thing as opposed to incidents, if I recall correctly. Probably frustration. It's a very caution-filled race. But anyway, he's qualified 4th. He's up to 2nd. And I don't know if he has something for the number 21 machine of Sean Pierce. But I definitely think through the early stages of this, as we complete lap 27, that he is one of the stronger cars.
Yeah, we've seen him be strong. Race car is in. Steve Matthews going to try to get a jump on the field. And, he gets put in the wall by the 21 there on the restart.
Yeah, the games didn't really work out that time as the 199 of Jake Goodwin looking to the bottom. Big run through the center of the corner. He's actually going to be almost side by side for the lead here. Looks like Sean Pierce is going to get that better run off the corner. Looks like 98 with the big toss down there in the corner, trying to get up beside that 21 machine. But slow and smooth gets it. Or not slow, but smooth and easy gets it for the 21 of Sean Pierce as he's out to a 2/10 of a second lead.
And one thing I did want to mention on the 21, I noticed on the caution, he does have a little bit of right front damage. I'm not sure where he got that. He might have gone into the wall a little bit, or another car, but we'll see if that affects him any. He seems to be going all right now, but maybe as this run goes along, it might affect him, but he's still leading this race.
Just want to make note, Ricky Arbo in that 61 machine is up to the 6th position. His last time by, he was running a 6.58 in the 19-second bracket. Jumped back up to Keith Mack, who's actually in the 8th position with that mutilated car. He turned to 77, so it looks like he's about a 10th off the pace. But definitely in the ballpark here.
And if you're in the ballpark at a short track in this league, you still got a shot to win this race, as we saw last week with him. So, plenty of time left. We'll see if he can get up here.
We complete lap 31 that time by. Looks like your top 5 are single file, all within a second of each other. Sean Pierce actually doesn't look as strong this run as he did earlier. Maybe he's saving his equipment, saving tires. But definitely a tighter battle up front this time by. Ricky Arbo wants to make it a 6-car battle as he's closing out on the back bumper of 2 weeks ago's winner at Oxford, Mike Rhino. Field rolling through turn 2. Looks like Rhino's going to get a good run off. Ricky Arbo slipping back a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure how strong Arbo's car is today. That lap he ran in practice might have been a qualifying lap. Not sure how good his car might be in race trim here. Might still be a top 5 car, but his car doesn't look as strong as maybe the 21 or the 98 right now.
Yeah, battle heating up there for the lead as you're on board with the number 98 of Stephen Matthews. He's closed in on the bumper, that 21 of Sean Pierce. They've separated themselves from 3rd place, and it looks like, Stephen Matthews, like I was saying earlier, he may be the only guy to actually have something for that 21. He's going to come right up on the bumper here, a little loose on exit, caught the rear. Caution on the speedway, actually.
Looks like the 71, George White, went around there off turn 2.
So just a single car incident, it's looking like. Should be a relatively quick caution here. Field rolls around and completes. Looks like we're on lap 38 this time by, so they've completed 37 circuits here. So we're almost a third of the way through this event, Brandon. What are you thinking about this Stephen Matthews machine? I mean, he served a suspension last week, but he's definitely maybe spent that week building a setup here for Thompson. You think he might be the only guy to have something for Sean Pierce at this point?
You know, I'm not so sure about that. We have seen the 199 Jake Goodwin. We have noticed at times his car is not as good for 10, 15 laps, but then he seems to be as fast as anyone, if not the fastest car on the track after about 20, 25 laps into a run. But we haven't really gotten that tonight, so I'm interested to see if he will be a player, and I'm interested to see maybe if Ricky Arbo can get in clean air, maybe ahead of the 34 and 9 and all them. Seeing maybe if he can have anything for them. But right now, I think the 98 is the only one, at least on the short run, to have anything for Sean Pierce.
Yeah, definitely true about Jake Goodwin. It seems like his car early in that first run, he started reeling back in the leader, Sean Pierce, towards the end of that run. So throughout the run, it looks like that 199 does get better. And along with the 61, I think honestly what he's doing right now, just judging by his driving style and watching his lines, I think he's just kind of laying back, saving his equipment. I mean, there's really no reason for him to run hard and force passes with 80 laps, 85 laps to go in this event. So definitely keep an eye on that 61. Keith Mack actually opting to pit in from I believe he was in the 7th or 8th position, pitting in that time, going to drop him back to the 16th position. Number 33 of Doug Hubley, I think getting a wave around that time by. That'll put 17 cars on the lead lap as we roll around to complete lap number 40, I believe.
It looks like we'll be back to green, only been 2 laps here, now a lap and a half. But yeah, it looks like Keith did take this opportunity in pit. I'm not sure how much tires are going to matter here tonight, but I guess he's going to take every opportunity he can get with that damage that he has on the car.
Yeah, I think just coming down the pit lane and maybe fixing some of that fender and quarter panel damage will actually help the car. As we take one to go this time by, we want to remind you this race is brought to you by Tim's Corner Motorsports. Jump on their website, timscorner.ca. Check out the TCM Preseason Thunder fan vote. You can get voted in to run along with Michael Conti and all the likes of the Pro Series drivers. Brandon Hoff's going to be there, my sidekick here. But Ford Mustang pace car looking to roll into turn number 3. Jake Goodwin rolling off in third. Stephen Matthews actually making a mess of the last start. Trying to stay out in front. It's not going to work. He's out again. Same issues. He gets back in the throttle. Not working out there.
Yeah. I'm not so sure with the 90. I guess the 98 is trying to get the jump on the restarts when 21 goes. Oh, he gets into him.
Contact, the 21 goes around. Sean Pierce is involved. The number 9, Craig McDonald, also involved. Definitely not what Sean Pierce wanted to see here.
That might have changed everything right there. It looks like Sean's all right, but yeah.
Sean's got it rolling again, but he's going to roll off the 15th position here. 17th, he's going to be the final car on the lead lap. Craig McDonald on the 9. Well, you know, we mentioned it. Stephen Matthews was suspended for a week for the driving. You know, with the restarts and with that issue there, you gotta think they'll probably take a closer look at him again. The guy definitely has speed, but I don't think the patience is there, and I don't know if the racecraft's necessarily there. But super late models are ultra competitive, and thousands mean a lot here, so contact is always made. But at this stature of the race, with almost over 80 laps to go, that's definitely not what Sean Pierce was expecting.
Yeah, that was. I think that was unexpected on his part. It looked like Steven was racing him really clean the last run, and I guess Steven, like you said, the patience wasn't there, and just got into him. But while we have this opportunity, we're going to throw it off the commercial break here on Checkered Flag Interactive, live from the Thompson International Raceway.
Welcome back to the Thompson International Speedway. We've got the Tim's Corner Motorsports 125 here. Just had the lead change hands, not the most conventional way. Stephen Matthews making contact as we have green flag back in the air. Stephen gets a good start. 199, Jake Goodwin able to tuck in line, it looks like. Arbo fourth. Your first side-by-side battle is going to be for that 5th position. Mackenzie Brewer and Travis Roma. Roma gets a good run on the outside. Brewer's going to slot in the 6th position.
And 38's going to get the spot. Move him in the top 5. We mentioned
Tim
him.
Terry getting racy back there. He's side-by-side for that top 10.
Yeah, Tim's looking pretty racy tonight. He's avoided a few wrecks, got a clean car, and battling here for a top 10 spot.
Kind of hung up on the bottom. It's kind of like he went backward there from 7th to 10th that lap, but he's going to be able to slot in line here in 10th right behind Keith Mack. Now it looks like the 11 of Vic Greenwood's going to force his way to the outside. Now Craig McDonald's looking to the outside of Tim, so Tim slipped back a little bit. But you know, one thing I've noticed about Tim Terry is he'll kind of fall back after these cautions and let him fall, and then he'll work his way back through them. As you can see here, Rhino's fighting really hard with Jake Goodwin for that second position. Looks like Stephen Matthews is starting to pull away a little bit. Looks like Rhino's setting him up here to try to get a good run off of this corner. As you can see, that 61 creeping in your frame. That's going to be Ricky Arbo. Caution on the speedway again here. Well, Tim Terry, like we said, had a good run going.
Yep. I think we jinxed him.
Looks like maybe Sean Pierce is probably a little faster than most cars around Tim. I don't think he expected him to be there. Minor contact. I don't think either car has serious damage, so they will continue forward. Just unfortunate for Tim to get caught up in that. Definitely not what Sean wanted to happen. We're going to do one more quick commercial break here. You're watching the Tim's Corner Motorsports 125 live here at Thompson International Speedway, brought to you by Checkered Flag Interactive. Welcome back to the Thompson International Speedway. 56 laps complete. Little under 70 to go here. Stephen Matthews is your leader. Goodwin's outside, the field doubling up this time by. Ford Mustang pace car lights off, flagman giving him 1 to go. It's going to be Matthews, Goodwin, Arbo, Rhino, and Travis Roma in your top 5. Brewer, Mack, McDonald, Cassidy, and Pierce back up to the 10th position. Hubley, Steves, Aub, Weagle, and Greenwood your top 15. Savory, White, Terry, Barkhouse, Fitzpatrick your top 20. One thing to note, Tim Terry did lose a lap through that exchange. Hopefully he'll be able to get that back. We always like seeing that 75 run well. Ford Mustang pace car down. 98, Stephen Matthews bringing him to the green. Green flag in the air. 199 of Matthews able to get down. Your top 5 are single file, 6 single file. Contact between Mackenzie Brewer and 38 of Travis Roma as they're side by side for the 5th position. Brewer going to get around on the outside. Roma back to 6th. Side by side for that 8th position is number 9 of Craig McDonald, side by side with David Cassidy. Looks like Sean Pierce is going to want to try to follow that number 9 through. Not able to get the run off the corners. The 13 back to the outside of the 9.
You're seeing 21 and 9 both involved in that wreck there with the 98. They're making their way towards the front. 21 kind of slipped up a little bit there, so that's going to cost them some time. But Craig is moving through the field, already up to the 8th spot.
Yeah, had a mistake out of Sean Pierce there and kind of really lost that group. Really poor lap that time by, as 20.3 is almost a second off what he was running up there in the front. One thing I noticed about that Sean Pierce machine is it's bottoming out on the corner entry at turn number 3. I don't know if that's maybe being a dirty air thing, but that car's not as good in that dirty air. So we got a caution on the speedway. Looks like Carson Alb's going to be involved in this one in that number 37 machine. Looks like the 09 of Craig Weagle and him just making slight contact on the entry to turn number 3. More like a racing deal than anything as we take a look at it here again. So, well, we had a few green flag runs here to begin the race. No more than 10 or 15 laps. It's been relatively caution heavy here the last 20 or 30 laps. Stephen Matthews still going to be your leader. Jake Goodwin second, Rhino third, Arbo fourth, McGrewer got up to fifth that run.
And we do see some of these cars up front banged up a little bit. We do see a little bit of damage on the 199 and the 34. I think those result in earlier incidents. But the 98 also, well, he's got a little bit of right front damage, but other than that, the car looks pretty clean, even though we did see him get into the back of the 21.
I think
incident there.
Yeah, I think that slight right front maybe came from the 21 machine when they made contact. Quick update on Sean Pierce up to the 10th position. Like I was saying, I don't know if his car's as good in traffic, but we know if he can get up to the top 5, it's anybody's game. That's how these MiRL races go. They're always a barn burner to the very end. Tim Terry getting his lap back that time by number 75. Good to see him back up on that lead lap after that contact he made with Sean Pierce.
That'll put, I believe, 18 cars will be on the lead lap. Looks like from there on back, everybody's out of the race from there. So it looks like we have 19 cars still running. So,
yeah, Barkhouse still seems to be on the track. The 78 of John Fitzpatrick in the 20th position, he's still out there limping around. I don't believe Garnett in the 02 has a lot of life left to it. Yeah, it's actually out there as well.
The 05.
So really your only two that were out so far that are retired is going to be the 83 of Roma and the 49 of Stewart. When the contact was made, it looked like, I believe it was Roma and the number 9 of McDonald making contact on lap about 7 of this event. And that'll be your only terminal accident of the race, which is a good thing. Many cars out here is a good thing.
What?
So as we have the lights out on the Ford Mustang pace car, we want to thank everybody for watching along here at Checkered Flag Interactive. I'm Lucas Huffman alongside Brandon Hoff. This race is presented by Tim's Corner Motorsports. Check them out, timscorner.ca. Check out the TCM preseason Thunder fan vote. Ford Mustang pace car in, 98. Stephen Matthews leading them down. 199, Jake Goodwin trying to get a good start. Green flag in the air. Goodwin got a great start that time. Mike Rhino's actually going to try to follow into second here. Side by side.
Able to get done.
Rhino's actually going to get a good run. We could see a 3-wide bottom here. Great run up here at the front. Contact made between the 34 and the 98, sending him down into the corner. This could be Goodwin's opportunity. Caution at the back.
.45
Terry.
done 01. Yeah, looks like 3 cars involved there.
Tim Terry, 4 or 5 cars involved actually. There's a big checkup out of turn number 2. Looks like Garnett had to check up the 01. Lifting, Garnett gets absolutely hammered in the grass. Tim Terry, one of those things where everything looked fine and just, for lack of a better term, all hell broke loose there out of 2. Everybody was running along and it didn't look like it was going to be a big incident, and the next thing you know the track was blocked and Tim Terry, just after getting his lap back, had nowhere to go. Definitely going to give that hard luck award out to that 75 for the 3rd consecutive week.
Yeah.
Here we are on board with Garnett, and you're going to see as it happens here, as he comes out of turn 2, that 01 machine of Don Steves checks up. He goes low to avoid him. Contact was made. Had to go down through the grass, and then, like I said, everything was breaking loose to the outside of him, and that number Number 02 machine took a big hit to the right side.
That's gonna. I believe that'll about end his night. I believe he was running out there limping around about 15 laps down. So I think that might just end his night here.
Yeah, he might just join us up here in the stands and watch the rest of this one. I don't know if he's going to be able to gain any positions. Not 100% sure where he runs in this championship battle, but he's had good cars every week, so I know he's probably in the mix. But definitely a hard break for him. And the biggest letdown of all that is we were going to have a heck of a 4-car battle for the lead there. Arbo, Rhino, Goodwin, and Matthews.
As always, we'd like to thank you here at Checkered Flag Interactive for tuning in live here for the MiRL Wednesday night, 7:30, and then tomorrow night we go for the Upper Edge Racing CMC Sportsman Series 8:45, race 9 out of 23. This Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, we go to VIR for the Sim Racers of Asia, and then 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, we've got the Bull Ring Racing League in the Street Stocks. We'll be there live, race 9 out of 10 there. And then Sunday, we've got the Rose IndyCar Series at 1:50 p.m. in the afternoon. And then that night, the 3rd annual I've Got Balls 250. So big night here on Checkered Flag Interactive. I'll turn it back over to the guys up in the booth.
Field doubling up here. Stephen Matthews, Jake Goodwin, Ricky Arbo, Mike Rhino, Craig McDonald, your top 5. Ford Mustang pace car looking to the bottom. Stephen Matthews gets a good jump that time on the 199 of Goodwin. We're single file, the top 5. Top 6, actually, that 21 is Sean Pierce making his way to the 6th position. 38 of Travis Roma looking to the bottom.
Yeah, we see the 21 get a good run off turn 2 there. I'm interested to see what he can do now if we get a few green flag laps. This race is winding down pretty quick as we have a wreck in the back again.
Looks like Doug Hubbley's involved in that one. There was an issue where there was a checkup. It looked like out of David Cassidy. He got in the wall, and I think it's just an accordion deal. 189 got into the back of the 33, and then the 189 of Kevin Savory got turned, and that will bring out another caution here at Thompson International Speedway.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but this race is eerily similar to the way Oxford went. We had I believe it was a 20-lap green flag run at the beginning of that race, and we had about 10 to 15 laps to begin this race, and then we had another 10-lap run. But ever since then, we really haven't had more than 5 laps. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like. Hopefully, it gets better tonight. But these guys, I think these drivers have to be just a little bit more patient with each other. It seems like.
Yeah, we're getting ready to come around and complete lap 74 and take lap 75, which is going to put us just at 51 laps remaining in this event. So, you know, the patience is probably going to wear even thinner here as we have under 50 laps to go. Like you said, I want to watch that Sean Pierce machine. I know if he can get to the bumper of the 98, he's not going to be afraid to use it. Tim Terry able to kind of benefit. He's back up to the 12th position. Vic Greenwood having a meddling run in the 11th position. Hasn't really been involved in anything, but that's a good thing. Just have to be there at the end. Keith Mack in the 10th position with that mutilated race car.
Yeah, we really haven't heard much out of him since that incident with the 98 and 21. Or not, excuse me, not the one, the 83, I believe it was. That first incident there. Off 4. Yeah. Doesn't look like his car is able to keep up as well as these others. That damage is probably affecting him, maybe giving him 1 or 2 tenths that he could gain without the damage. But see here with a few wrecks, maybe he can make his way to the top 5. But I don't know if he could do it on speed.
Yeah, I just don't believe the speed's there on that number 22 car this week with the damage. Carrying the flag for the Revolution Racing team right now is Mike Rhino. All the other cars, like we said, the 02 of Christopher Garnett, I think he's went ahead and parked that machine today. He had issues early, and then obviously Keith Max had some issues. So carrying the flag today is Mike Rhino. Trying to make it 3 weeks in a row for the Revolution Racing team. Stephen Matthews and Jake Goodwin definitely have something to say about that. Ricky Arbo, never count him out. He's in that 4th position. Field doubling up here. Just one quick reminder, jump on over to timscorner.ca. Check out the TCM Preseason Thunder. Get your fan vote in. Definitely don't forget to watch that event. Always a fun event. I think it's the 4th annual this year. Ford Mustang pace car pacing them into turn number 3, into 4, ducking in the pit lane. 98, Stephen Matthews off to a good start. Goodwin able to tuck in line. Arbo actually gets a really good run this time. One of the best starts of the race. He's going to be side by side with Rhino. Rhino's actually going to let him in.
Oh, we got to reckon the back.
They're still side by side, wrecking in the back, side by side for the lead here. And there's the caution.
And there, Tim Terry blown up.
Oh, Tim Terry, man. Motor letting go on that number 75. Looked like Keith Mack got a piece of that. We're on board here with Tim Terry. You can see Roma up there in the 38. I don't know if he didn't go. Mackenzie Brewer back up the racetrack. Tim had nowhere to go. Possibly was going to go high, but it looked like they were wrecking up high. There's your hard luck award again for Tim.
Yeah, really just has no luck the last few weeks with these wrecks. Even last week with the clean race, the few wrecks we saw, he was involved in quite a few of them. Very unfortunate breaks for that 75 the last few weeks.
Yeah, when you think what Tim's train of thought was, he sees the guys down there on the apron, he thinks they're going to come back up the track, and you know, had those two cars not collided there right at the grass apron area of the racetrack, I think they both would have went back up the track, but because they collided, it slowed them both down. And Tim just barely mistimed that. You know, that was a really big hit for Roma. I don't know if there was an issue there on the start. I don't know if he missed a shift up to 4th. I think he had to have, because right when he would have went to shift that race car, it just stopped, and Mackenzie Brewer made contact, sending them down to the infield. 33 of, you know, I want to make note of him earlier during the last caution. The 33 car of Doug Hubel, was running a good position, top 6 there. He was involved.
Yeah, I was just going to mention 33 of Doug Hubel. He doesn't run every week in this league, but he was having a really good run there. But yeah, he was caught up in this one.
Definitely disappointing for him. That's going to knock us down to 15 cars on the lead lap. It looks like George White in the 71 machine has lost a lap. Doug Hubel in that number 33 car down a lap. Tim Terry, obviously engine damages are going to put him multiple laps down. 09 Craig Weigel is actually in the pit lane being serviced right now. Looks like Keith Max, actually, like you're saying, have a couple incidents here and there. Keith Max up to that 7th position. Sean Pierce was not able to progress that run. Ricky Arbo was actually able to go from 4th to 3rd in that short amount of time, so he's just picking them off one at a time. Gained 22 positions already in this race.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if, sorry Lucas, but I'm not so sure if these guys up front, we have seen them peak at 3 wide, but we have not seen it yet tonight. I'm not so sure if we're going to see it here on this restart, being that it seems like we're having caution after caution, so these guys got to get as much as they can.
Yeah, Ford Mustang pace car turned the lights off that time by rolling by to complete lap 83. When we take the green, it's going to be lap 84. There's going to be 41 laps in this event. Like you said, I got to feel like at some point Sean Pierce is going to really flex those muscles as much as he can. And, you know, if you can arc that turn 1 right, you can possibly get a run down there and make it 3 wide bottom. Mustang pace car off, 98. Stephen Matthews with a really good start that time. Arbo side by side. Arbo really loose that time. Looks like the number 9 and the 21 making contact.
Ooh.
Everybody's able to keep it straight.
Oh,
big contact for Arbo. Looks like the benefactor there's going to be that 21, making 3 wide through there. Number 9 car coming back up the track. He's really loose. He's able to hold on to it. Everybody checks up. Good drive by everybody involved. We stay green. That's going to put Craig McDonald back to the 8th position. Put that Sean Pierce number 21 machine up to 4th.
Heck of a run there by the 21. He shot through the middle there with the 61 and 9. That was a very impressive move. So now put him back to 4th.
Pretty big contact there out of 4.
Yeah, that wall bit him a little bit there off 4. Not sure if it's going to affect his car any, but see if he can maybe run down these 2 in front of him.
Looks like we have a pretty good battle for second as the 199 and Jake Goodwin washes up this time by. Mike Rhino looking to the bottom. They're going to be side by side. Coming to the stripe that time by. It's going to be Goodwin. Goodwin dives it in there. Rhino gets back in line. While this is happening, the 98 of Stephen Matthews is absolutely driving away, off to a second lead already. Ooh, contact between the 34 and the 199 there through the center.
This is all around the 21.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say that's going to allow the 21 and the 61 to reel these guys back in. It's become a 4-car battle. There's a caution in the back. 13, David Cassidy, looks like he's involved in that.
Oh, we got a car upside down. Oh my. Owning the 1 there. The 09 looks like that Craig Weagle. Just runs into the back of the 13 after he had to check up. I believe that was for Keith Mack.
Yeah, I don't know
the
what
09
the issue was there. Something happened, it looked like, with that Mack machine. And, you know, Cassidy was able to see it. And he checked up and actually stabbed those brakes. And that absolutely killed him with the 09.
Odd flip, you could say, for the 09.
Yeah, first time in at least 2 or 3 weeks we got one of them upside down here. And it wasn't really a hard rollover, more of a slow rollover into the wall for that number 09 of Craig Weagle.
Yeah, that's a tough break for him. He was still on the lead lap, but that will obviously put him a lap down, maybe more.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue was with that 09 early in the race. I do recall, you know, as I was cycling through the field right there at the very beginning of this race, he was actually down the pit lane, and I don't know what. I don't know. Maybe he accidentally left the qualifying setup in it or something. I don't really know what the issue was, but he pit in on lap number 1, and was able to, you know, stay out there and avoid the wrecks and get 2 or 3 laps back early in this event. So started out as a bad day. Got it back to a pretty good day, and now it's back to bad again.
Well, that'll put us now. Looks like Doug Hubhley in the 33 gets lucky dog this time. Now put 14 cars in the lead lap. We did see him get involved in that mess a couple cautions ago, I believe 2 cautions ago. So he will now be back in contention here, seeing if he can maybe make his way back up to where he was.
Yeah, like we said, he was having one of the better runs here in the field. I think he was running the 5th or 6th position when those accidents happened a couple cautions ago. So it's still Stephen Matthews leading this race. Jake Goodwin's going to run 2nd. Mike Rhino is in 3rd. Sean Pierce up to that 4th position. Watch for him. Ricky Arbo slipped back to that 5th position that run. He got really loose out of turn 2, and Sean Pierce made a bold move, 3 wide middle, and made it work. Kevin Savory qualified 24th. He's up there in the, looks like, 6th position.
Yeah, he's having an excellent run. We saw him, I believe, spin off the bumper. I believe that was 38.
Yeah, very early in this event.
Yeah. And now look at him. He's running 6th position here with just over 30 laps to go.
Lights off on the pace car, field doubling up. Tim Terry's back out on the racetrack. Want to make note of that. He's in the 17th position, 6 laps down. Probably not the finish he was looking for today after the good luck he had early. Mustang pace car looking in here, lights off, ducking onto the pit lane, 98, Stephen Matthews, 199, Jake Goodwin. Green flag in the air. Side by side for that 3rd position, slight contact made. 21 of Sean Pierce knows he's got to get it here. Oh,
contact, and there he goes.
Big into the wall, problems, caution.
That'll do. 61 goes around.
Cars involved. Arbo's involved. Keith Mack's going to get more damage. Mackenzie Brewer's involved.
Well, that might do it for the 21, but honestly, he did get spun, but he only lost 2 spots.
Yeah, he's able to maintain actually the 5th position there. I knew that, I knew he was going to get all he could, because he knows if he wants to win this race, he had to get clear to 3rd there. And I think, you know, he was pinching, and Rhino just got a little tight, and that's just kind of what happened there.
I'll be anxious to see if the 21 tries to come in and get damage repaired, but at this point I don't think he will. I think he'll stay out, chance it.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have another option at this point. I mean, if he pits down, tries to repair some of that damage, he's probably not going to get back up to that 5th position, so disappointing to see that happen to him, as I think he was probably going to be one of our strongest contenders here with Steven Matthews. Just doesn't seem like that Goodwin or Rhino machine has the short run speed to keep up with him. But we're going to take this green flag with around 25 laps to go, give or take a lap. Looks like the 21 of Sean Pierce actually is going to pit in this time by.
Yeah, that's a extremely tough break for 21. We saw him get involved in that wreck with the 98 earlier in the race, made his way all the way up, battling for the 3rd position. And then we saw this happen with him get spun by the 34. This will most likely end his chances of winning this race tonight.
Yeah, got to be a huge disappointment down in his pit. They run a limited schedule, and they put together a really good car for him this evening. And, if it weren't for a little contact out of turn number 2, we could be talking about Sean Pierce this whole race and not so much Steven Matthews.
Yeah, it did look like he had the dominant car early on in this race, but after that spin, it doesn't look like his car is as good, but it was. I was watching the lap times. He was just as fast as Steven Matthews when he got into clean air. So it would have been interesting to see that battle, but now really all he can do is try to get as much as he can here in the closing laps.
I want to make note, Craig Weigel on that number 09 machine had that thing upside down in turn 1. Like I said, it was a slow rollover, got the hook out, took about 4 laps to get that thing back right side up. He's on the racetrack 4 laps down. So go ahead.
Sorry, 2 cars I do want to mention. We already mentioned one of them, Kevin Savory, running in 5th. Actually, 3 cars I want to mention here. David Cassidy, we saw him have that incident there with the 09 a couple laps ago. He's running in 6th, and then we have Travis Roman, 38, running 7th. All 3 of those cars having great nights tonight. All qualified mid-pack, but seem to have really good race cars and be able to avoid some of the junk here.
Yeah, you can throw Karsten Alb and Doug Hubhley in that mix as well. All those guys from about 5th on back to 9th. We didn't expect to see him. Ford Mustang pace car in. Here we go. Steven Matthews gets a good jump. 199. Goodwin trying to get in line. 34. Mike Rhino is going to be able to get in. Looks like we're single file all the way back to the 7th, 8th position. Keith Mack diving in for that 8th under Carson Alb. Looks like Mack is going to get that position. 13 really sideways, big checkups. Everybody's back together. Everybody's pointed the right way. We're all compressed now, though, as that 13 is side by side with Travis Roma and that number 38 machine. Contact, Arbo, big contact.
That's gonna be a couple of cars.
It looked like, man, multiple cars, 5 or 6 cars involved. Big time problems. Tim Terry did a good job there. Absolutely. Oh, now contact was made with him after, but Terry locked it down, got it sideways, stayed out of that one. But Vic Greenwood's involved in this. Christopher Garnett got a piece.
Man, that O2's been around every wreck tonight. I don't know. It seems like every wreck he's been just right there.
I think it looked like an issue with Arbo. Just, I don't know if he. I don't really know. I think Doug Hubhley was down there, and Arbo tried to make it 3 wide, and Hubhley wasn't going to give him the room, and contact was made with 25 to go.
Yeah, I was just going to mention 61 and 21. They were both trying to make their way back towards the front. Well, maybe a little over-aggression, but it is late in this race, so can't say it's excusable, but understandable, the aggression and where it comes from. So not much they could do there.
You see Tim Terry doing everything he can, locking it down, saving the race car, and then it looked like a little frustration out of one of the early cars involved. Not really aware of where Tim was, and you know, they didn't want those guys at the shop to get lazy, so he knocked in another quarter on that car.
Well, to reset everything now. See Matthews still out front. Still seems to be the dominant car, even though we really haven't had green flag laps. But again, we're gonna have to see if the 198 or 199, excuse me, or the 34, or even the 9 of anything for the 98 here. I'm not sure. Seems like he's checked out pretty well in the short runs.
Yeah, we're going to have about a little under 20 laps to go as they come to 21 this time by to the stripe. I think it's at that time of the race where Mike Rhino, Craig McDonald, and even Jake Goodwin, and they're at this point of the race now where they're during these restarts, if we continue to get them. I mean, this one even specifically, I'm going to try to time it, and if you screw it up, that's fine. But I think, Rhino needs to try to anticipate this and be able to follow that 98 down into the corner and maybe move and try to get underneath him. Because I think once that Stephen Matthews machine gets a 10th or 2, you're not going to be able to get back to his bumper.
Yeah, I think in order for the 199 to win this race, even the 34, I think we're going to have to see this race go green to the end for them to have a shot. 98 just too strong, I think, for these guys for the first 10 to 15 laps of the race, or run, excuse me.
So as we're completing lap number 106, the lights are off on the pace car. That's going to put us at 107. We take the stripe. That's going to be 18 laps to go. Matthews, Goodwin, Rhino, McDonald, Savory, your top 5. Roma, Mack, Cassidy, All, Brewer, the top 10. Pierce, Hubbley, Greenwood, Arbo, and White are your top 15. Weagle, Terry, Fitzpatrick, Steves, and Cousins, top 20. Mustang pace car in 98. Stephen Matthews goes right on the pace car there, gets a good start. Looks like the 199 actually going to be able to stay right on his bumper here.
And there's another wreck in 189. Goes around.
Yeah, we were just talking about Kevin Savory and how he was up there. He's actually rolling off the 5th position that time by. Looks like just a little wheel spin out of that car.
And once you get wheel spin in these things, it's very tough to save them, especially off the corner like it seems like he got there.
Yeah, definitely snappy cars.
Yep, but this gives 199 Jake Goodwin another opportunity here on the restart, try to hang with the 98.
Yeah, you saw the 98 Stephen Matthews going really early that time. I think this time he's going to try to bring him down slow and maybe try to get that 199 to jump it a little bit. But that's part of the games that are going to be played. There's going to be less than 15 laps to go when we take this green flag.
Yeah, laps winding down. Really not sure now if anybody has anything for the 98. 15 laps is not a long time when we see him at his strongest in the first 15 laps of a run. So if these guys are going to win this race, I think they're going to have to drive really, really hard here to try to get him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that I think they're just going to have to get a good start and move him down in 1. I think that's really their only shot at it. At this point, that's not how you want to see it done, but that's how the 98 got there, so technically he's got one coming from somebody. Goodwin's actually been able to hold on to a top position through the later stages of this race. Usually he dominates mid parts and early parts and then seems to fade. Not saying it's over, as there's going to be about 15 to go next time they roll by the stripe.
We have mentioned him a lot tonight, and he hasn't been involved in a lot of incidents, but 21 Sean Pierce somehow, someway is still in the 10th spot after all he's been through tonight. There's only 15 to go now, but I wouldn't count. He still seems to have a really fast car, and if he can get some green flag laps under this thing, who knows? I mean, look what happened last week, so anything can happen, as we saw.
Yeah, I mean, when they came to that lap last week, I believe Keith Mack he was back in that 4th position. He ended up getting a win, so anything can happen. Craig McDonald hasn't been beaten around as much this week as he has the last 2 weeks. He's in 4th. I think that car is just a little too free on exit for him to be able to complete those passes on the outside, but hey, you can't count him out. Travis Roma's battled through a lot today, been in a few incidents here and there. He's in the top 5. Keith Mack, with that mangled race car running 6th, he's been damaged for the entire race.
And 2 cars behind him, 13 David Cassidy, 55 Mackenzie Brewer. We've seen them been knocked around a few times tonight. 55 actually has been seemingly quiet tonight on the racetrack. It seems like really haven't said much about him. Quietly running 8th right now.
Yeah, he snuck into a top 3 finish last week. Still the possibility. It's about the position they were in last week at this time. So it looks like the field is going to get 1 to go this time by to complete lap number 112. That means we will go green on lap 114, so it'll be an 11-lap race from there. Lights off on the pace car there. That means the 199 is going to pull up alongside of that 98, Matthews and Goodwin. Rhino.
98 gets a good jump on the 199. 199 tries to close back in the middle of 1 and 2. Looks like he's going to get a decent run here off turn 2.
This might be his opportunity. He lifts a little earlier. Contact made between the 9 and the 34. Looks like it's a 3-car battle. That 98's getting a little better run off. That may have been his opportunity down there.
And
caution at the back.
Looks like the 78 goes around there.
Yeah, John Fitzpatrick having problems there. Multiple laps down.
Well, I'm going to bunch him up again. This time going to be less than 10 to go.
Yeah, this is going to shape up to be something pretty interesting here. Depending on when we get the green flag, this could be the last start of the race. This is that point where Goodwin, Rhino, and McDonald, you just got to gamble and go, and hopefully that the 98 goes the same time you do. He's been going relatively early here lately. I mean, that's how I see it. They're gonna have to take a gamble because they're not gonna be able to beat him in a 3-lap shootout. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to. So you got to try to get a good start, try to get up alongside of him, force him to exit that turn number 2 on the low side, or you got to be able to get to that back bumper if you're Mike Rhino and maybe push him up through the center and then turn under him.
You got to wonder if these guys behind him are thinking, behind the 98 that is, they are thinking that they do have to use the bumper. And like you said, really, to be honest, I mean, he has a fast car, but really the only reason he got there was because of using the bumper to the 21. Yeah, like you said, you got to think he's got one coming to him, but do these guys have the bumper in mind, or are they thinking racing them clean? It's going to be an interesting thought here in the closing laps.
I mean, the other thing is Goodwin, Rhino, and McDonald were all right. I mean, they've been in the top 5 the entire race, so they definitely saw how Steven got the lead here. And, you know, they're definitely not going to feel bad about it, knowing, you know, if you see somebody get into somebody and spin them out, you don't feel as bad if you spin them out. So they're definitely having that in the back of their mind. Travis Roma in 5th, Mack 6th, Brewer 7th, Cassidy 8th, Pierce in the 9th position. Carson Alb have a good run in that top 10.
Yeah, currently 13 cars on the lead lap. Vic Greenwood looks like he got the lucky dog that time. 11th and 12th, Ricky Arbo in 11th. We saw him get involved in that incident there with the 21. 33, Doug Hughley hasn't really gotten back to where he was before his incident off turn 2 quite a few laps ago. He is currently 12th.
Yeah, Hughley wasn't able to really recover back to where he was early. Neither really is Ricky Arbo, since he got in that bigger accident where they went 3 wide. It's going to be interesting, though. We're going to have less than, looks like, lights probably going out. No, yeah, lights going out this time by, so there's going to be 5 laps remaining when they take the green. If we get 5 green flag laps, I would be ecstatic. But with the urgency these guys have been racing with all race long, we're not 100% sure how it's going to go. But it's definitely shaping up to be a good finish here. This race is brought to you by Tim's Corner Motorsports. Jump on over there. Check out the post about the fan vote. Cast your vote. Put your driver in. Ford Mustang pace car looking to the bottom. Green flag in the air. Good start for Goodman. He's going to be right on his bumper, heading down into 1 here.
Exactly.
34 Mike to the bottom. Goodwin doesn't touch him. 98 pushes a little bit. Good run here off for Goodwin. Not going to be enough. That 198 separating off the 2 lengths now. Travis Roma moves to the bottom. He's into the inside wall. Not going to bring out a caution here. The car's smoking. We stay green. He's pulling it to the inside, making sure we stay green. Good sportsmanship out of him.
Up front, nothing changing. 98 still trying to pull away a little bit from the 199. Looks like he's still doing so. Looks like there's another car rolling. This is 11 of Vic Greenwood. Looks like he's going to stay out of the way of the leaders to the low side here coming out of turn 2. He will do so. So 11 goes a lap down. 98 continues to pad his lead just a little bit.
Stephen Matthews coming out of turn number 4 this time by 199. Goodwin with a good run that time. They take 2 laps to go. It's just under 0.3 of a second. The number 9, Craig McDonald, diving in, making contact, slight contact with that 199 of Jake Goodwin. Still looks like Matthews is going to lead him down into 1, or into 3 with 1 lap to go this time by. And there's your white flag. Stephen Matthews pulling away to over a half second that time. It's all his unless he makes a major mistake. Battle's going to be for second. Jake Goodwin, Craig McDonald. There's a car down there on the bottom. Never mind. Stephen Matthews makes a big bobble. Stephen Matthews makes the bobble to the bottom. Is he going to get there? He's not. Still going to win it. Stephen Matthews, he tried to give it away. But man, he got the win just barely there. What a finish. Every week we seem to have a better finish here. Woo.
That was... You want to see an exciting finish. Stephen Matthews made it exciting right there.
You know, I don't think he made a mistake all race. You know, all race he was able to lead and be smooth, but when it came down to that big pressure, I have 1 corner left, don't make a mistake corner, he made a major mistake. He was able to gather it in. I think Goodwin probably could have picked up the throttle a little earlier in 3 and got to him and turned him, but that's not the way Jake wanted to win. Jake had a good run this week. You know, getting the results that he's deserved really the last 3 weeks, that's a good story, but Stephen Matthews is going to be your winner.
Yeah, you know, comes off a suspension, wins their next race. I mean, without the suspension, who knows what the last 3 weeks could have been.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely a good way to come back to the server, come back to the race, come back to the league. Pretty interesting finish there, Brandon. I honestly, when we took 1 to go and I saw him, he went from about 0.3 of a second to over half second. I thought, well, this is his. And I think I said through turn 2, I said if he doesn't make a major mistake, it's his. And he made a pretty major mistake, but not a catastrophic mistake.
Yeah, it was almost catastrophic, but he held on there at the very end. But he definitely made this finish exciting.
Definitely not the finish I was expecting. So we're going to run through this finishing order one more time. You'll see it up on the ticker at the top. It's going to be Stephen Matthews, Jake Goodwin, Craig McDonald on your podium. Mike Rhino able to follow up an almost win at Irwindale with a 4th position finish here. Mackenzie Brewer back-to-back top 5s, getting that program together over there in that 55 pit. They're doing a great job. Keith Mack, last week's winner, was able to bring that bruised race car home in the 6th position. Ricky Arbo able to bring it home in 7th. David Cassidy finishing in the 8th position. Sean Pierce, all the troubles, all the drama, gonna finish in the 9th position. Doug Hubley was able to get back up to that top 10 position.
Just outside the top 10, last car on the lead lap. 37 Carson Knob. Still a pretty good run for that team. They've had a few troubles the last few weeks, and pretty good rebound for them. Vic Greenwood, first car 1 lap down, finishes 12th. 13th, George White in the 71. And basically everybody from here on had trouble. 189, 14, Kevin Savory, 15, 38, Travis Romo. We saw him have his problems there with about 3-4 to go. 09, Craig Weagle. And 16th, 17th was Tim Terry in the 75. 18th was Don Steves in the 01. 19th, Johnson Fitzpatrick in the 78. And rounding out top 20, 05, Todd Cousins.
Yeah, Todd Cousins, like you said, finishing 20th. Disappointingly 21st. He's going to be that 0-2 of Christopher Garnett. I think he had a good car, just got caught up in some issues. Matthew Barkhouse, the 45, going to finish 22nd. 64 laps down. Then your final 2 positioners going to be the Chris's. Chris Roma, Chris Stewart. They're involved in that accident on lap number 4 of this event. And so 24 cars took the green flag here today. We had 11 of them finish on the lead lap. Margin of victory just over 0.1 of a second. Got to sing congratulations out to Stephen Matthews. Disappointment for Sean Pierce. Tim Terry also had a pretty good run going along. Was up there into the top 10, top 5 area and had a couple of issues.
Yeah, there were quite a few drivers who you probably really could have said the same for. Only a few really got the results they really showed the entire race. We saw 61, 21, even 75 had problems, 38. Saw all those guys. They were running top 10 early on. We saw 21, 61 battle for the lead, and they had their problems. But yeah, trouble-filled race to say the least.
Yeah, even with the troubles, we had a great finish here today at Thompson International Speedway. Just want to let you guys know, jump on over to Tim's Corner Motorsports, timscorner.ca. Check out the TCM Preseason Thunder. Check out the fan vote. Get in there, see that race. So, as we wind down here at Thompson, just want to reflect upon a few things. Stephen Matthews, coming off a suspension for reckless driving, made contact with that 21 on the exit of turn number 2 at a lap about 40 and spun him out. Do you think there'll be any repercussions coming from that, Brandon, or do you think it was just more of a racing incident?
I mean, I would say no, as I think if we saw any, we would have probably seen it during the race, maybe a 1-lap penalty or an end of the longest line penalty there for aggressive driving. But no, I really don't think so. I think it'll be just fine.
Yeah, I don't think our sanctioning body, the Maritime iRacing League's gonna really look at that too heavily, because I think it was a racing incident. It definitely wasn't like he full throttled him or anything. But Sean Pierce has definitely got to feel like one slipped away here today, and Stephen Matthews pretty much has to know that he has one coming to him at some point, as we're at round, I believe, number 9 of 16, so there's plenty of time left for retributions to be paid.
Yeah, for sure. We don't see Sean Pierce run here every week, so when he comes out, it's only to one and one thing only, and that's to win. And he definitely had the card to do it tonight, just not the luck to go along with it.
Yeah, definitely not what he was looking for today. Well, we had 125 laps. We were able to run 5 green flag laps there at the end. Stephen Matthews was able to walk away your winner. Almost gave it away in turn number 4. Brandon, you want to give us one final thought here, and then you can send us off?
Well, we saw a good race here tonight. We saw a few green flag runs, but for the most part, it was a caution-filled race. But that ending, kind of unexpected. We, like you said, saw Stephen Matthews get out to that big lead and then had that little bobble, but made it an exciting finish, to say the least. So, good finish here by these guys tonight. But here from Thompson International Raceway, I'm Brandon Hoff. That's Lucas Huffman in the booth. We are signing off on Checkered Flag Interactive. Have a good night, everybody.